This morning. We are hearing from Wake County Emergency Management as well. They're reporting that flooding has been reported on Mangum Dairy Road and Pleasant Forest Road there in northern Wake County. This is pretty much in the rural part of northern Wake County near neighborhoods. But if these roadways look familiar to you or sound familiar to you, just be mindful that it's a situation that there might be standing water on those roadways. So you want to stay away from that as well, because a lot of times, sometimes these roadways have standing water, but DOT crews have not had time to get out there and actually officially put up that barrier. But if those roads sound familiar, definitely stay away from it. Elsewhere around the Triangle and surrounding communities, because you have decided to stay home today and stay off the roads, this is what we're seeing. Nothing but green showing up, and all our major roads right now are delay-free.
That is the overriding message. Stay off the roads. Don't be part of the problem here.
Tropical Storm Debbie may be remembered most as a tornado producer. 3 confirmed tornadoes so far this morning, and one of them in Wilson County. A person did not make it out of his home. We'll have much more live coverage coming up, so stay here with us when we have our new news.
It is a confirmed tornado, so we take that very seriously.
Look, that back door when I started.
Flooding in the Sandhills is causing a potentially dangerous situation.
WRAL's Gilbert Bays joins us live from Fayetteville, where in the past hour, some folks right around that area of Bombay Drive you've been showing us today have been asked to evacuate. Gilbert.
Yeah, Jeff, I tell you, we just had a vehicle disobey that sign and drove through here. I didn't think he was going to make it, but he did. You don't want to do that. You know, these storms are a matter of timing, and this ain't over until Elizabeth, Kat, or Mike says it's over, because it's coming in waves. We even saw some blue skies, but that's not the case. Sun's out here now. Let me show you this house right here. This house right here was dry. The homeowner went away, and when she came back, her yard was flooded. Michael, show them that the creek back there. That's it. That's Locks Creek back there, and that's causing all the problems here on Bombay. That's part of it. Residents also tell us that there's a problem with the drainage out here that needs to be fixed. You can see right now, Mike and I came through here about 7 o'clock this morning. There was nothing out here, and within just about a matter of an hour or so, all of a sudden, the creek started creeping out, and now it's starting to connect. Let me show you one other thing over here, because this is not the first time this area is flooded. We've done a number of stories out here. When Hurricane Matthew and Florence came through, these markers are still here. This is how high the water got down in this area. And so just within about the last hour or so, we've had firemen going door to door telling residents it's about time to get out. So some folks are going to wait it out. Other folks are taking heed and grabbing their bags and leaving. So if you live on Bombay and you're not here, your home back here may have some water in it. If you do get here, it's probably best to move out here until the water recedes. Reporting live here in Fayetteville, Gilbert Bays, WRAL News.
Gilbert's been reporting on that area since the homes were built there, and there have been a lot of problems there with water.
Tornado warnings, the theme of the day, and we have another one, this time again in our viewing area. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner lets us know where that is right now.
Yeah, this one is until 12:45, and this is going to be number 18 of the day. At the beginning of the newscast, I showed you the one that was just outside of the viewing area, and then, as promised, we kept a close eye on this. And boy, I was just watching it for the last 15 minutes, thinking any minute they're going to pull the trigger on this. There's definitely a look of circulation here. It's going to be over between Wilson and Rocky Mount. We're going to zoom in on this area, so it does include parts of Edgecombe, Wilson, and Nash counties, and you can see there some of that heavy rain coming toward Rocky Mount. These cells have been moving at about 35 miles per hour, and so that's what we're seeing here. We're going to take a look here at what's happening right here. A couple of places. This is actually interesting. We're going to start here, even though this is not the warning. I was sure when the warning fired up that it was going to be right here near Lucama, between Lucama and Wilson. There's a signature there, so don't be surprised if in a couple of minutes we see a warning that pops up there. But they've actually warned the circulation system that's here just north and west of Pine Tops. And I'm going to stop the loop on that so that we can get a good look at that. This warning expires at 12:45, and there's a little bit of circulation showing up here. I'm also going to show you the shear rate. This has been a good tool to use this morning because as we get farther away from the radar, sometimes it's a little harder to pick up that circulation. Sometimes it can be a little more well-defined if it's a little bit closer to the radar. So we take a look at the shear with this tornado warning, and we will loop that and show you the motion of this. And it's really coming to the northwest, just like most of these have been. We go in and take a look at what some of the towns are that are in the path of this, and it's in a somewhat rural area, but definitely headed towards Sharpsburg, Bullock's Crossroads, Lancaster, Mercer. This is right along the path where we've seen a number of these tornado warnings already today. So watching that, it's going to be State Road 1124 up towards Sharpsburg, Bullock's Crossroads. We've got Temperance Hall Road is one of those, and Old Wilson Road is also where we're looking at that potential shear, which would mean some spin in the atmosphere. So we'll take a look here at, I'm going to widen out the view a little bit more. I want to take another look at this one down here in Wilson County. Look at the rotation there. You can almost see it. Sometimes we see this in, and I know this is not a warning, but I really want to talk about both of these equally because it just, when we take a look at the radar, it just is looking like, this is a potential as well. So I'm going to switch this. I'm going to take the loop off of it. And you can see here almost a bit of a curvature to it. This is going to be 795. It is moving toward I-95. And whether or not we see a tornado here, it definitely looks like we have the potential for some spin in the atmosphere and the potential for something to happen here. As a matter of fact, we zoom in here, Contentnia Junction at Lucama. This is going to be, again, like I said, not too far from where we had a confirmed tornado at around 3 a.m. You can see some strong rotation showing up in this as it's crossing U.S. Highway 301. So again, for Wilson County, you need to be careful. You need to be watching out there as well. I'm going to bounce back over to the other system. We're going to just zoom right on back up here. This is the one where we have the warning that's in effect until 12:45. And we'll put a track on this one as well. We've had some interesting luck trying to show some of these more rural areas with the track, just not showing a lot of the towns, but it'll definitely show Rocky Mount for us. So let's give you a timeline on when this storm might affect Rocky Mount. These have been moving at about 35 miles per hour. So we're going to see Rocky Mount at about 12:34, Southside Park 12:46, Nashville 12:47, and Red Oak about 12:49 for when we could see the arrival of that system there. So we're going to continue to watch out for that. More and more of the situation that's been causing us some issues. We'll head out and take again a look at the big picture of what's happening. All morning we've seen these rain bands from Debbie moving inland. The one that produced all the tornadoes this morning has moved on up into Virginia. So now we're seeing the next rain bands sort of take its place. If you can think about it, the system rotates counterclockwise. It's been over the ocean. It's been over land for a little while as well. But as they move over land, they encounter friction, which causes spin in the atmosphere. And this is something that we often see during tropical systems, and that is exactly what we're seeing here. So we've seen a whole lot of that this morning. Tornado warnings already. Now we've seen 18 tornado warnings, 3 confirmed tornadoes. We went on the air covering these at about 2:15 this morning. So it's been a very busy and a sad morning too, especially for over in Wilson County. Wilson County has been hit harder than any other county. Near Lucama, we had the confirmed tornado just before 3 a.m. Extensive damage there. Springfield Middle School, 10 homes damaged, and of course we did have 1 fatality. What's been a very helpful tool for us this morning is the debris detector, and you can see that blue area right near Lucama. The debris detector works like this. If the tornado touches down and lifts debris into the atmosphere, if it hits a tree or a building, it lifts that debris up. The radar can see that, and it shows up in our debris detector. And so
12:45 the time right now. What's been a historic Thursday. Tropical Storm Debbie has claimed the life of a person that was in a home that collapsed. Lucama. We've been spending a lot of our attention on that just because of this terrible scene there.
Heavy hearts in Lucama. Neighbors so concerned about one particular man in his house, and then search and rescue teams. We watched that the search and recovery effort play out there in front of that home. Amy Wilmoth now reporting live from there. Amy, it's just so sad to hear about this man.
It's devastating. It absolutely is devastating. When we first arrived here this morning, we were here before the rescue team, and there were neighbors yelling for the person that lived here, you know, hoping to get some kind of response. And just they were very concerned because they couldn't reach him. And now, we know the news that they did pull out a victim from this home. The scene is cleared here. Everyone is gone. The only people left here are a few media people. That's about it. It was Tennessee Task Force 1 out of Memphis, Tennessee, that had the capability of getting into this home that collapsed. The fire chief from Rockridge, we spoke to him earlier. He said they showed up shortly after the home collapsed, realized they didn't have the capability to do a search safely. So that's when they reached out to Tennessee Task Force 1, who had been deployed to this area to help for any recovery efforts. And it took them a while to get the home stable enough to pull the individual out, but they did eventually pull the victim. There was one person only inside the home, but they didn't make it. This is a tough situation. Anytime you get tornado warnings overnight, this is a huge fear of all meteorologists. And as Kat mentioned, this doesn't happen very often here. That's why it's hitting so hard. She said the last time it happened was April 2011 that we lost someone to a tornado. So definitely a tough time here. Neighbors grieving, and they are still reaching out to family members of this victim that they did pull from the home just a short time ago. Back to you.
It's fortunate that Tennessee Task Force was already deployed and stationed just in Lumberton, not far away, was able to get there, didn't get the result they wanted.
And we've learned that Governor Cooper will be headed to Lucama there. He will be surveying the damage there, at least 10 homes just damage there, as well as the Springfield Middle School. He'll be talking to the sheriff and talking to some reporters there. When that happens, we'll bring you live. We expect that to happen in the 1 o'clock hour. Let's get to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Elizabeth, this is far from over, and we could see more tornado warnings this afternoon.
Yeah, we did have a tornado watch that was expanded to 8 p.m. I'll show you who is covered in that coming up. But of course, this last tornado warning that we had in effect there at the end there, just for Nash County, has expired. It expired at 12:42. Still some heavy bands of rain, and I would expect to see more tornadoes in some of these rain bands that are east of Raleigh. So just be on the lookout for that. It started to taper off a little bit from Raleigh southward, and we'll see more of that as we get through the afternoon. Here's a look at that tornado watch. It does cover most of the viewing area until 8 o'clock tonight, and so you're going to need to stay vigilant. Just make sure that you can be weather aware. Turn on the TV, have our WRAL app downloaded, and set the alerts to go off if we have a tornado warning or a flood warning for that matter. So we take a look at what happens between now and 5 o'clock. We continue to see the rain bands gradually diminishing but not ending. We may have some rain still through tomorrow morning, and then a cold front sweeps through and kicks that all out during the afternoon tomorrow. It may be a bit breezy with that, and with saturated ground, we have the potential for more trees to fall tonight and early tomorrow. Right now we have winds gusting to 33 miles per hour in the Triangle. That's where they're the strongest. So we've already had a number of trees fall down, so just be especially careful. One thing that we'll be watching, especially tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, is for our river levels to rise. We're going to see a lot of the towns along some of our large rivers seeing some major flooding, and coming up a little bit later in the 1 o'clock hour, we're going to take a closer look at some of those flood warnings.
Elizabeth, thanks for that. Everybody wants to know when it's going to push on out and be done.
We have new information coming into the WRAL Live Center. Let's get to Chris Lovingood. Chris.
Hey, Renee and Jeff, sorry, I was just printing something off the computer here. Basically, I was taking some notes because look at this right here. This is from someone who says they were on their way to work this morning in Fuquay-Varina when a tree hit their car. But get this. Yes, this damage looks bad. They are okay. They did have a mild concussion, they say. Let's go through some of the photos that are here. This is from inside. You see how the windshield was busted in there as well. There's the cracks that are there. You can also see from the outside a better perspective of the front part of the vehicle that had the damage there. This is from Caitlin Gould. She says she actually lives in Bowie's Creek, but she commutes to work. This is her Toyota 4Runner that had that damage. This happened around 6:10 to 6:20ish this morning. She was in the hospital for about 2 hours, and she is not going back to work until Monday because of the concussion and the injuries that she had. We're going to show you a little bit more about some other trees that are down across the area when we come back here on WRAL News.
Tropical storms such as Debbie are capable to bringing destructive tornadoes. This video from southern Sampson County shows a tornado that ripped through 2 homes Wednesday. As soon as it was safe, WRAL put Drone 5 in the air over the homes that were hit. And you can see the severity of the damage that tornado left behind on Bland School Avenue. A 9-year-old boy named Landon was playing video games inside one of those homes. Thankfully, he was able to make it out safely.
Looking back at it, it is kind of sad to see something I grew up in all my life to be, well, what it is right now.
The other home that was hit was a group home. Its residents were not home at the time. A tree fell over and badly damaged a home in Raleigh due to the storms we've covered all morning.
WR's Nick Perlin was there, and he gives us this information.
This happened at a home a little bit further down in this neighborhood on Silver Road. That's right off of Penny Road. And I do want to show you video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. And you can see this large tree crashing into this home and slicing the corner of it right here. Now, we do know when this happened, a woman was inside the house. She was taken to the hospital, and deputies are telling us she's expected to recover. But as you can see, just major damage to this home. Now, our team of meteorologists are going to continue to track this storm throughout the day, and we'll keep you up to date on any damage caused by the storm. In Raleigh, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
And here in the WRAL Traffic Center, we're following some breaking news right now. Let's take you right to these live cameras of a crash shutting down 3 lanes on the south side of the Beltline. This is where I-440 and I-40, that split right there in the south side of the Beltline. You get onto Lake Wheeler Road and then over to Rock Quarry Road. But you can see right now this crash is shutting down 3 lanes there on I-40 and I-440 split. This is what it looks like on our sensors right now. You can see that that delay going all the way back to Rock Quarry Road and all the way right here to Lake Wheeler Road as well. I would strongly recommend just avoiding this area for right now. Coming up in the 1 o'clock hour, Brian Schrader will have an update on how you can get around it.
Well, certainly still a lot to get to here this afternoon because of all that saturation. There have been a lot of large trees down in a lot of different areas, bringing power poles down, hitting cars, things we've detailed for you throughout the morning.
Yeah, and all morning long, we've seen tornado warnings, and the threat is not over. We do have a tornado watch for Raleigh, Wake County, points south and to the east through 8 o'clock tonight. So be sure to stay with WRAL News on your app, WRAL.com, WRAL News Plus. We will continue our team coverage here on Fox 50 for you. Lena and Deborah will be taking over for us. Stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.